Hi, everyone. Well, after playing bartender for a few days celebrating Old Fashioned Week, it's time to get back to bourbon reviews. So today we are reviewing Russell's Reserve Single Barrel. Now, I've never had this before. I haven't been huge on Wild Turkey products, but I certainly want to kind of re explore them. I've had the Wild Turkey 101 a few times. I've had the Russell's Reserve 10-year. One time I got that bottle, and one time I got Rare Breed. And I was never just, just totally over thrilled with a lot of them. Again, I had the Rare Breed early in my bourbon journey, as with other spirits that I've talked about. It's 116 proof. The time I had it, I was not that much into higher proof bourbons and whiskeys in general. That's another one I want to come back to, but I kind of want to re-explore Wild Turkey as a brand. I've turned it a high rye bourbon in their mash bill. Well, it's 13% rye. It's certainly higher than other bourbons, which we would call maybe a low rye bourbon, but there are certainly plenty of bourbons that have higher rye than 13%. But for some reason, something about the Wild Turkey, in general, as a distillery and all their brands, they seem to be very bold, with a lot of spice. So there's definitely a presence of rye in the taste, maybe even more so than the 13%. But in any event, never had this before, so I'm very anxious to try this. A lot of people I've seen have gotten store picks for the Russell's Reserve Single Barrel. I got this in Wegmans. There was no store picks, but it's just a single barrel in general, so we're going to go with that. As with the Wild Turkey brands in general, the company is Campari. The distillery, of course, is Wild Turkey. Now, this is 110 proof. All the Russell's Reserve single barrels are all 110 proof. What's interesting about this is 110 proof for this is actually very close to barrel proof, because Wild Turkey is known for coming in with lower barrel entry proofs than, say, some other distilleries. Like, basically the maximum entry proof into the barrel allowed is 125 proof, and they Wild Turkey in general come in between 107 and 115 proof. That's a relatively low barrel entry proof. Another distillery that does that actually is Maker's Mark. And ironically, a lot of their cask strengths or barrel proofs are 109, 110 proof. So it's kind of interesting. This is 110 proof, and that's probably why. So you're really getting basically a very close to cask strength, even though it's not officially cask strength. It is non-chill filtered, and there is no official age statement on this, but generally it's thought the barrels, the single barrels, the barrels used as single barrels in this range anywhere between 8 and 10 years. So the mash bill for this, as with the Wild Turkey Distillery, all their products in general, is the same mash bill, and they use a mash bill of 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% malted barley. And it's kind of a cool bottle. The distillery has the bottle has the two master distillers, father son, Jimmy Russell and Eddie Russell. It's noted right there. And this is kind of what they do, is they kind of supposedly they pick their best barrels for these single barrels, kind of showcases the best barrels that they have. From what I've heard, that even though it's single barrel, and they vary certainly by barrels, they're all good ones. The only thing interesting is it's a single barrel, but they don't specify a barrel number on this, and any specifics as to what the Rick House or anything like that. But it is a single barrel, and supposedly represents the best barrels they have. So I am going to open this up. Can't wait to get started. Okay, so we have this poured in a glass. I will note that was a good cork pop. And I also will note, first thing I noticed right away is the color. I think it's a very nice color, definitely on the darker side. It's not the darkest I've seen, but it is definitely a darker color and a very, very nice color. So that was the first impression. And let's just get right into a nose. Okay, so right off the bat, as soon as I smell this, as with some other high proof whiskeys, higher proof. There's 110 proof. It's not the highest, but is by no means a low proof. You can definitely on this detect this is going to be a robust pour. Okay, I was going to definitely say that. I'm getting oak. It's funny. It's not a Scotch. I want to say peat, but there is a smokiness to it. Kind of like I don't know how to describe it. If I was in like a kind of a smoke-filled room, there is definitely there's definitely something to that smokiness, oak. Definitely a caramel. There's just a robust smell to this. It's not like I would say I'm getting killed with ethanol. I think it's just more so it's just a robust smell, which will, is telling me that this is going to be a robust taste. So let's see what it is. Cheers. And that it is. This is a very robust mouthfeel finish. Definitely on the palate. I mean, number one, there's no hiding it. It's definitely a rice spice. And again, as I said, 13% seems like it doesn't seem like a tremendously high number, but I always find with Wild Turkey products, I definitely detect the Wild Turkey taste profile. But this is something a little different, and different even in a better way. But there's no doubt that there's definitely a rice spice. Let me check another taste. Now, I do get some caramel. I know it's supposed to be like a toffee taste. I do detect that. But I definitely get the rice spice, the oak. There was definitely a boldness, and I'm getting a long finish. But it's interesting. All the spice is kind of happening on the palate. Not definitely feel a finish. Don't feel it as the long finish in a burn in a bad way. But there's a nice taste going on. A lot of spice, a lot of different flavors. I think this is kind of complex, but a nice long finish. With all the spice kind of getting hit right on the palate. Now, this I can tell you right now, my first impression of everything that I've tried from the Wild Turkey Distillery, this would be right now, I would say this is my favorite. I say right now because I think I'm going to go back and try some of the other ones. Specifically, I think at some point I'll try the Rare Breed, because when I had it the last time, and it was a while ago, again, early in my bourbon journey, was not up to 116 proof. I remember saying that the Rare Breed, I just detected a mint taste that I did not like. But I think I'm going to try that again. I'm going to revisit that. But of the Wild Turkey 101, the Russell's Reserve 10-year specifically, and the Rare Breed, so far this is definitely my favorite. Now, I know this is a single barrel. They can vary by barrel, but I don't think that they vary that much from what I've heard and what I've read. I think that there's some variances, but I don't think basically, I haven't heard anybody say they got a really bad bottle on these. So this is, I will say I'm very, very impressed with this. Let's take one more taste. This is a rich, thick, full mouthfeel. And after trying a lot of different higher proof whiskeys over the last few weeks, it definitely makes me appreciate this more, since I kind of am looking for, and I was thinking about this earlier, I really do prefer higher proof whiskeys, even north of 110. Whereas, when I started my journey, I mean, you start at 80. It used to be kind of 86 proof to 100 proof. And now I'm kind of like, 110 and north of that, I kind of enjoy. I find the flavors full of, and I don't want to generalize, because it could be, there are certain bottles of distilleries that are going to be better than others, but I think there's just more flavor, and there's just more going on as far as the taste and the mouthfeel and everything with that. So basically, my verdict on this one is my favorite of all the Wild Turkey products I've tried so far. I can see why everybody likes this. I've heard nothing but good things about this, and this is actually, I'm very happy that I saw this, purchased this. I'm going to get more into this, but I'm definitely going to also want to explore more Wild Turkey products, both products I haven't had, and then also go back on products that I have had and re-explore them. But this is a definite, absolute thumbs up, and everyone who said that, I totally agree with you. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Take care.